All right, so I've been having issues with my Shimano SLX brakes, overheating on long downhills. But I have some Hayes Dominion brakes, A4, on the way, and I'm changing the brakes out because these are Shimano SLX. They've never given me enough confidence, especially lines like this steep. But yeah, so next video, new brake install. Dude, my rear brake is gone. So I think I've solved the problem. What do we got here? Oh yeah. Hayes Dominion A4s, front and rear. So there we go. Black front and rear kit. Hayes, Manitou, Pro Taper, Sunringle, and look, they're made in USA, Wisconsin. All right, let's check them out really quick. Nice packaging, packaged really well. So there's a lever. It's got the dimples in it. It's got the lever throw adjustability. All right, let's check out that caliper. Check that out. 4-piston. It's got those pivot bolts right there to center once it's on, but it comes with pads already in it, semi-metallic. These are the extra set of pads. Maybe these are the semi-metallic. Bleed block. And some hardware. Break out this light I just got. Look at this. Check this out. Boom! So far, all I've done, removed the brake, the front brake. The brakes that I had on this were Shimano SLX. You can tell right away the hose, you can see right there, a little bit thicker than the Shimano. It's 5.5 millimeters, I believe. I'm not sure what the Shimano is, but you get a beefier hose, so more fluid. Came with all these extra fittings, mounting hardware, stuff like that. Came with some semi-metallic pads. I think what's in here are organic already, so I'm going to run with those. I got all kinds of new tools that I've never used before. Hydraulic brake line cutter, and it also has the tip on it that you can run all your new hose line fittings and all that stuff to make a clean hydraulic hose line or cable puller. So when I do the rear, I got to drop this motor and I got to pull the brake line up and over with the motor's out. I got to remove the battery for that. But for this session right now, I think I'm just going to run the front brake. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to resize this existing hose that came on this Hayes, and I'm going to match the length of the Shimano SLX brake line. Seemed to fit the bike perfectly, so I'm just going to match that right now. So for this hose fitting right here, it is an 8 millimeter, so I'm going to remove that, loosen that up. Okay, and then just yank that out. Boom. A little bit of oil in there. I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to have to bleed everything off anyway, so I expected that to come out. You can run these either way. Left side, flip it over, right side. All right, there's that. Just get it on there, like so. All right, so just laid this out. Basically, lay it in there. Boom. There we go. That's our new length. Right there. First you want to put on that. Then you want to put on this. Never used this tool before, honestly, so I believe this slides over like so. This goes through there. Insert this little fitting. Pain in the ass. So it lines up like so, and then you crank this up into it. There it goes. See that? Release that, release this. And this little olive should slide right on there. All right. Like so. Okay. This should be get ready to go back into the handle. You got this piece on there, then this piece. All right, newly trimmed brake lines. Okay, got that started. 8mm. Okay. Just like that. Now let's attach the caliper. Okay, they slide over. I still got to put the a brake adapter right there because these are 223mm rotors. I just wanted to see if it would fit. Definitely will. I can't use the hardware that came with the brakes because I have this brake adapter on here. So I'm going to have to use these longer ones for the mounting hardware. All right, they fit nicely on there. I still got to do a bleed on them, of course. I just wanted to get the hoses and all that mounted up, sized. Front one, easy peasy. Now for the rear, it's going to be a different story. I got to drop the motor. I got to run this inside this back swing arm. Runs through here, goes up and over the motor, runs up and above the battery, comes out right here. So this is your rear brake hose. So I got the tools, I got everything to do that, but I'm gonna have to do it at a later date. Ran out of sunlight. You know, I'd like to have a little bit more time to do the rear. I don't want to cut any corners. I want to make sure everything is routed properly, especially when I'm dropping the motor. But that's going to do it for today. All right, day 2. Got the front brake on, mounted, not bled, but mounted. And we're going to set up and attempt the rear. The rear takes a little bit more mechanical skill because I got to drop my motor. And I got to run the brake line up and through the frame, all that good stuff. So this is going to be a little bit more challenging. All right, let me set up my table. Let's get started on this. All right, first things first, let's remove that battery. All right, and I know that rear brake hose runs up through here. So you want to start, because I got to drop the motor on this, you want to start by removing the battery. And next we're going to pull this motor, drop that motor. In case you're wondering, I run the 625 battery. All right. First things first, you're going to want to remove the rear wheel. Hey, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to pause the video right here just to say, before you drop the motor, this procedure is a lot easier out of the bike stand. Just flip your bike upside down on the handlebars and seat, and it makes this process a lot easier. This whole brake installation thing, you know, it was kicking my butt. Took me about 3 days, but I just kept, you know, running out of time. A lot going on. Wasn't my main focus. And but yeah, it's done. Everything's ready to go. I just got to do a ride. But yeah, when you're removing the motor, flip your bike upside down. Makes the process a whole lot better. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Enjoy. Hope you learned something. All right, then we're going to want to remove this cover right here so we can actually get to the wiring of the motor and the plugs. Take off the skid plate. Trek rail has 4 little screws to drop the skid plate. There you go, skid plate removed. No damage on it so far. Then we're going to disconnect the motor, all the wiring, and then we're going to drop the motor. And I believe it's 1, 2, 3 bolts. All right. Hey, what the heck is that thing in there, dude? All right, so I hope you can see that. I'm removing my cheater, little chip I have on here, full speed. Shh, don't tell anyone. Just don't cut that red wire. All right, now we're gonna unplug everything. Right, so that's my volt speed deregulator. You probably don't have that, so when you remove all the wires from the motor, it's going to be a little bit different for you. All right, so this main plug right here has a tab that you have to depress before you pull it out. So I'm not going to show you how I do that, but just right there, it's a little depression tab. You push that up and you pull. There you go. Just wiggle it out. Okay, so now all the wires are out. You can see right there, everything is disconnected. You cannot plug the wrong wire into the wrong hole because of the shape of all these little tabs. So you can't mess up. So now I'm going to drop the motor. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I got this set of Torx bits. Is it a 40? That it is. In case you're curious of dropping your motor on the Trek rail. T40. There we go. Got it to budge. Wow. These are really, really in there. There we go. And according to Trek, once you remove these, I'm not going to do it, but you're supposed to replace the hardware. I don't know. I might not do that, depending on how these look and how much Loctite they have on them. But I've seen other videos where, you know, the guys that have done this, they're like, dude, you don't need to replace the bolts. As long as the threads and all that are fine. Once I take them out, I'll show you what they look like. T40. Anyway, let me show you the hardware, what it looks like. There we go. I don't see any reason not to reuse these, although Trek recommends you replace the hardware when you drop the motor. And yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'll reuse this stuff. All right, so once you got that other side removed, the drivetrain side also has 3 of these bolts and one right under here, right in here. So you don't have to remove your crank arms or anything, which is nice. Once again, T40. These things are Loctite on, but yeah. And there she goes, and one more. That's it. Move that chain. There she is. Guess I should have disconnected the chain before I did this. Live and learn, right? Anyway, there she is. Lobotomy, whatever you want to call it. All right, motor is out. Master link. Not a big deal. Pull that. Right, motor out. Wow, the bike is light. Look at this thing. Woo! Put her back in here. Okay, now we're going to start removing that rear brake and the hose and the line, all that good stuff. Now the fun begins, the real fun. All right, so those fittings right there, they have a little tiny Allen in there. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to remove that right now just to make it easier to pull this hose out. My goal is to get this all done and complete and bled and everything. What is today, Tuesday? I want to be back on the trails by at least this Saturday. That's my goal. All right, I'm going to remove this. Hopefully it doesn't fall inside the frame, which I've seen from previous videos can happen. All right, that little piece right there. It's all rear brake right there, and I'm going to take it off. The brake hose is disconnected. So let's start taking off all this hardware right here. Okay, now it's time to disassemble the hose and the hardware. Pull this little dust cover back, remove the handle from the hose, and I'm going to pull this hose down through the frame of the bike. All right, in order to remove this, this is a 9mm. Undo that. Let me grab a rag just in case it has some mineral oil dripping. Bam, there we go. Hose is separate from the lever. All right, those are for sale if you know anyone that needs them. Okay, so I'm going to pull this olive barb off. Or actually, I'm going to cut the line because I need to remove this. So I'm going to take my hydraulic line cutters and just snip that right there. Line cutter, I don't know if you can see that. Just going to go a little bit beyond. Boom, there we go. Nice clean cut. And all of this can slide out and over. All right, the hose is free. Time to start pulling it through the frame. Okay, I'm pulling this out. I'm not going to be gentle. There we go. Time for the hard part. Yo! All right, so you know what's weird? That rear brake hose came out of here, which, why didn't it come out of here on this side? Which is where I want it to come out. So I think I'm going to route my brake line up and out of this side because that makes more sense to me. I have no idea why it came out of this hole in the first place. I don't like two things in one hole. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. I'm going to run my rear brake line out of this and up into here. So where it should be. All right, I'm just going to remove this right now. I'm going to pop that other one back into place the way it is. And yeah, that's kind of strange to me. All right, so here's my routing scenario. Brake caliper sits here. Hose goes into here. Goes through here. Jumps over into here. Oh, let's see if I can show you guys. Goes past here. Comes out right there. Comes out that. And then passes up. I'm trying to show y'all. Up into there. See that little gap right there? So, yeah. That's what I gotta do. I gotta feed that brake hose up and through all that stuff. Up and out that hole on this side. That's my route. That's what I want to do. Let's get started. Okay, here's the rear brake. Packaged very nicely. Beautiful, look at that. So what we're gonna do is, unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut this, snip it, because in order to feed this line through, you wanna do it from the rear towards the front because of that right there. You can't really cut this and refit this fitting. So that's why you trim this as close as you can to where it's at. They give you extra hardware with these brakes, so you can do that. So I'm gonna take this off, pull this out, clip it, and slide this up and through the frame. That's the plan, at least. All right. All right, so I just cracked this loose. It was a, what is this? 8mm. I'm gonna grab this rag right here because it does have fluid in it from factory. Unscrew that from the brake handle, pull that out, wiggle it, pop that out. There's your little olive right there. You can see there's oil in it, hydraulic fluid. And I should have gloves on. I'm gonna pull this off. I'm gonna cut it right there, lay it in there like that. Boom. Okay, so I got this brake line pulling tool. It's magnetic. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that, but this thing came out through the hole. Well, basically, I grabbed it with a magnet. There it is. There's some other shit in there too. Nasty. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use this end right here. I'm gonna thread actually into this brake line and I'm gonna pull it through. Okay, so this threads into the brake line like so. And then this end of it threads into this. Okay, now I'm gonna pull. There it is, check that out. Brake line came through. Okay, cool. Now time to feed it through here, up and under, up under the battery shroud. Okay, so we've got the hose running through here. Calipers attached right there. Those came through right here. Now it's gonna come up and through this hole right here. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film that, but let me get some pliers. Here we go. I'm gonna push it through that hole. And there it is. So there's a brake hose right there. Now, I gotta get it to run up and through there. Right up on top, under that shroud. Yay, this is fun. Not really, I'm being sarcastic as hell. What I'm doing is, I'm feeding this line up and through. I'm gonna have to set my caliper. Basically something like that. Through here, coming up above the battery tray, and there's clips up here for that brake line to go into. So then it's eventually going to go up and through and out that top hole right up there. Got the caliper on there loosely. The hardest part is right here, this section, is getting that hose up above that and out that little guide port right there. So here we go, the hardest part, supposedly. We'll see how it goes. All right, flip the bike around. I'm gonna run this hose up through here, above the battery, up and under here, I guess on top of this little port, supposedly through here, and then out this. So let's remove this right now. Probably gonna have to use this tool again right here to fish all this line out. So far, it's working pretty good. All right, let's remove this hose guide. There we go, pop that out. And hopefully I can get fish the hose through here. So this little tool right here came in very handy. It's got a super strong magnet on it. Fish this up and through here. Stick this magnet in there. There it is. Okay, finally, got her through. Okay, so this part into the end of that part, and then you pull. Actually push as you're pulling. Bam. There it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm prepping the end of this hose. First things first. Make sure you put that rubberized little thing on. I don't know the proper term for it, but that goes on first. This goes next. Make sure the threads are facing the handle so you can thread it into your handle. Okay, cool. See that barb pressed into the hose right there? All right, little olive. There you go. Into the hose goes into the brake lever. Start threading this on. Make sure that olive is crushed up in there. Nice. Slide this little bad boy on. Ta-da! Okay, rear brake. Rear brake line. Now I just got to put the motor all back, do a bleed job, and yeah, pretty much done. All right, day three of this madness. I had to make this in like 3 parts, but I'm not going to separate the videos out until part 1 to part 2, part 3. This brake is done. One issue, I was going to put this tire back on last night, but I totally forgot. Let me show you the issue with this back brake. Look at this. You see that? Although these have like those locking little tabs on them, this thing came loose. I don't know if I forgot to use Loctite on it. All we really have left to do is bleed the front brake. So there's your front brake caliper right there. You can see it's not been bled. Stay. This thing's bled off. It's ready to go. And today, last thing is to bleed off the front. One other thing I did pick up, just showed up in the mail right now when I walked up. It's a KMC E12 chain. Finally get this thing done. Today is Friday, 4/10/25, and hopefully this thing will be ready to ride this Saturday. Happened there. Totally dropped the ball. No Loctite at all on these threads. That's just one thing I overlooked. Make sure you Loctite everything on your bike. Just a little tiny dab. It'll save you. Because I handled it quite a bit. Isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna clean that brake rotor. Nice. Especially with those new pads. Brake's working great. I'll save the chain for last. Not a big deal. You want to position this handle at the highest point, which is about right there. I'm going to lock her down just so it doesn't move. Dude, I don't know if it's me or the days are getting shorter. It's like I get home from work and I only have like 1 or 2 hours of light. I like working in natural light. I got stupid lights in this garage, but this garage lighting is one thing I definitely need to upgrade. So if you're a lighting person, dude, sponsor me some lighting. That'd be cool. All right, let's remove these brake pads. Get that in place. Not crazy tight, just so it doesn't fall out. Okay, so I removed the front caliper just to make this easier. I got attached 2 syringes, both filled with hydraulic fluid, and I got to pass from one side to the other to get the air just out of the caliper itself. And then once I get the air out of the caliper, then I'll close one of these, leave one of the syringes in, with oil. Then I'll move up to here and pass fluid back and forth from syringe on the top to syringe down here. Having the caliper removed, it's gonna make this a lot easier for me because I'm by myself. I don't have any friends to help. All right, all right. So we're gonna get our syringes full. Set this one aside. Same thing with the other one. Honestly, I don't know if this is necessary, but it does say in Hayes on their webpage, you want to press all the air out. Okay, so there's that one side hooked up. I gotta hook up this side. Same thing. Using this bleed port, there's 2 per caliper. Hopefully these brakes are worth it. And of course, they are dripping. They're making a mess. But on their website, on their videos, it's the same thing. They're dripping everywhere. So once you clean up with isopropyl alcohol, after all is said and done, you should be good. Okay, got our syringe on here full of fluid. Then down here we have our receiving syringe coming out of the caliper. I'm just gonna push. I'm watching the bottom one. Couple bubbles coming out. Okay, okay. Now, I'm gonna push from this bottom one towards the top. All right, getting all that air out of the line. Check that out. Okay, I'm gonna press from the top. Here we go. No air bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna send it back to the top. Ooh, there's some air bubbles. One of the tricks, they said, just flick this gently in case there's any air trapped. I don't see any. No air bubbles coming out. All right, a little bit of spillage on there, isopropyl alcohol. I'll clean all that up. All right, remove this. And that drippage is normal, according to their website. That little lead port screw back in. I believe the torque spec is 1.5 Newton meters. Looks about right to me, right? What a mess. I should be using gloves too. All right, so I'll let that isopropyl alcohol evaporate. I'll reinstall the brake caliper. And yeah, should be good to go. Putting back on the caliper, leaving it loose. I'll pull this bleed block out and reinstall the brake pads. Okay, there we go. That's it. And then we have this adjustment you can mess around with. But it seems to be holding. We have pressure, no leaks. Helpful hint when installing these unique pads, check these pads out. They have a unique shape to them. They look kind of like a bat or something, whatever. They do have that SRAM style brake pad pattern, but the metal, totally different. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, at least for me. I'm gonna try it with the caliper off. Just could be because I'm not used to it. But like I said, easier to install the brake pads with the caliper off the post mount. Let's get these bad boys on, but not snug. Reinstalling that front wheel. Here's the front, here's the throw without even adjusting anything. Okay, that's the front, pretty damn nice. Here's the rear. Ooh, beautiful. That's one thing that made me fall in love with these brakes is that feel, that pull. God, it feels so damn good compared to that Shimano or SRAM. It's just, boom, it's instant. I'll mess with all these adjustments later at a later date, but yeah, they just feel so damn good. Super powerful. Stoked. All right. Now it's just minor adjustments. I do have that chain. We'll cut that chain down to 120 links. There we go. All right, got the new chain on. Beautiful. These brakes have this little option right here. These little post mount screws to center your caliper. Right about there. Let's do the rear one right now. Right here. Okay. Got that caliper the best I can. It's kind of weird because you got these little guide screws right here. Kind of limit the way the caliper can move over this way or that way. So I hit the limit on these post mount screws. Then I spun the wheel, hit the brake lever, and tighten these two. It's almost like there's one more step with these little set screws right here to center it, which is cool, which is fine. Another piece of the puzzle for me, dude. These are a little different. The trail test will tell me if I like them or not. Get the front wheel off the ground, free rolling. Let's loosen this caliper. Do this the old school way. Roll it. Bam. Holding the brake lever. I'm just snugging it up. Give her a roll. Seems to be working pretty damn good. Woohoo! Cannot wait to give these bad boys a try. These things are going to be gnarly, dude. Okay, I think we're done. Wow. Front brake, working great. Rear brake, working great. Brand new chain on there. Bike's been refreshed. The only thing to do now is give her a ride and give you all my honest opinions on the Domain Haze A4. These things look good. There's tons of adjustment right here. This is the lever. You can see if I spin it to the left, lever comes out. Spin it to the right, lever goes in. There's also an adjustment right here. Like I said, you can run these flip-flopped, left, right, doesn't matter. I'm running Bluetooth components, shifter, I gotta tighten all this stuff up. Shifter and seat post, Bluetooth. So all I have is these two brake lines running. I like using one finger. Nice throw to it. Feels good. Feels way better than that Shimano SLX. All right, just got back from a 8-mile ride with the kid. Just to break in these brakes. Just give it a test run before I go on a big ride, you know. So took the kid with me. Couple things. These components need to move to the outside of this, which I'm doing over here. So I've already swapped this. This is my seat post lever. Needs to be on the inside. So I'm swapping this right now to the inside of the brake handle. No big deal. And then, you know what? The brakes need realignment. I mean, look at that. They're rubbing a little bit, so they somehow moved. I don't know. So we're gonna adjust that right now. And then the chain derailleur needs a slight adjustment, not a big deal, but a brand new chain on there. But yeah, all in all, just did a real quick break-in procedure. Rode a little bit, you know, held the brakes down, not going fast. Just kept doing that back and forth, front and then rear, until they started locking up. And dude, these brakes, super, super powerful. I got up into a wheelie, hit the rear brake, and it just dropped me straight, like hard. I was like, damn, that's what kind of braking power I'm looking for. So yeah, stoked. Just got to make some minor adjustments. It's all good. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Stay stoked. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out some merch, and I'll see you on the next ride, because once I do a decent, you know, big ride with this, I'll definitely report back.